I think that's interesting out here. Anybody catch you doing that, they gonna think you're flirting or y'all go together.
Yes.
Like
that is really good to know, especially like for people like me. I'm very picky with my food.
mm-hmm.
I gotta watch people like a hawk when they preparing my meal. You know, so that's interesting to know, so that I won't take offense to it or think,
Right.
think something.
Because you get invited to someone's house, that's custom.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen, so open up.
Yes.
They're going to hand feed you, you know?
Yeah, so that's why it's important to understand people's culture.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction.
Let's get it.
Super excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell,
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Which is the weather. Now, before visiting, I thought this place was going to be a lot hotter. One of the reasons why is because on my news feed on my phone, many stories pop up about droughts and limited water. So I'm thinking, okay, it must be hot over there. Not only that, this country is said to have one of the hottest places on earth. I think it's called Dalal or Danalik expression. Basically an area with volcanoes, lava lakes, hot springs, and just a whole bunch of other hot stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is I had Ethiopia, and especially Addis Ababa, being this hot and humid place. But once I touched down, I realized, that is not the case. During the day, yes, the sun comes out and it warms up a bit, but boy, oh boy, it's very chilly here. From all the places I've been to so far in Africa, I think Addis Ababa was the coldest city I've been to. The only place that comes close would be Nairobi in Kenya. But as of right now, I would give the top spot to Addis Ababa for sure. And one of the main reasons is because Addis Ababa is said to be the fourth most elevated capital city in the world. The fourth highest capital city in the world. So that's the reason why it's a lot cooler here compared to other areas. The next thing no one told me is that drying off your hands in Ethiopia is illegal. At least I think it is. And the reason why is because many of the restaurants that I visited, they rarely have paper towels in the bathroom or an air blower or something to dry off the hands. And at first I thought maybe this is an Ethiopian thing, maybe for religious reasons. You wash your hands, but you don't dry them off. However, when I went to an international restaurant, it was an Asian place. It was very nice. It was the same outcome. I washed my hands, soap and water, but nothing to dry them off with. They also have many restaurants where right before you eat, they'll bring soap and water to your table. Very common. I'm guessing this is the traditional way of preparing for a meal. But even then, there were times where I'll get the soap, the water, and then they wouldn't have any towels, no napkins, nothing. So if you're from this country...
All right, so I think he's like, I don't know if he's pushing it and hitting the gas pedal with the illegal part.
Yeah.
I think that's harsh to say, maybe.
Maybe it's just not available.
Maybe it's just something they don't...
Air dry.
Washing your hands is a delicacy. Like, they make sure before you eat,
They're
you gotta wash your hands. Like, that is a big... I've never seen no one eat without them dipping their hands in water, especially someone bring them their food, you know? Yeah. So, I don't know about it being illegal. Like, you guys gonna have to fact check.
Yeah, y'all gotta let us know about that one.
Let me know. Were they just on a budget and didn't want to buy any paper towels? Or is it one of those things where you don't wash off the water? It's supposed to be some holy... religious thing. I don't know. Just let me know. And since we're on the topic of food and restaurants, let me bring up the next point, which is a popular drink here called tej. This is said to be the national alcoholic drink of Ethiopia, and it's very delicious. It's very sweet. It's somewhat thick. I think it consists of honey, water, and like a plant called geisha or something like that, which is why it's nicknamed honey wine. I understand some of you guys watching maybe 6'4", 300 pounds, and I know when you're sipping on this, you're gonna think it's an ocean spray cranberry cocktail. It may taste like the orange juice you drink every morning, making it easy to slam back 2 to 3 glasses of these. But don't get it twisted, this tej will creep up on you. In every tej house you go to, the places that specifically serve this drink, the alcohol content may vary. Okay, so
I just find that funny. Like, you could be sipping on that, like, oh, this is sweet, and you just chilling. Next thing you know, you're the loudest one in the room.
Really?
Overly loud.
Really?
Just going off. Like, What I'm on? Like that's the alcohol kicking.
So I'm just not gonna take just anything. I'm gonna be like, hold up now.
And I'm
alcoholic free.
Yeah, and I'm highly interested in the
Alcohol-free.
ingredients, man, because he just named 3 things: a plant, honey, and some water. Like,
Yeah, gotta look into that plan, huh?
oh my, no. I just like the fact that they can keep it simple and use nature to help boost whatever it is they're trying to, give to the people.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do it wouldn't be called the version there. They might look at me crazy if I say something like that.
Yeah.
The non-alcoholic version. That sound wrong. Non-alcohol version. Do they have that? I don't want to miss out on the fun.
Just be warned. The next item on the list is something that may be a little different for some people, maybe a little uncomfortable, depending on the situation. And let me explain it to you like this. One night I was in a restaurant, and as I was seated, I looked across the room and saw that there was a gentleman at a booth with 2 women. And he was hand feeding one of the ladies. And I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe this is a situation where the lady that's being fed is not physically or mentally able to feed herself. But then later on, I realized that wasn't the case. In Ethiopia, there's a tradition, there's something part of the food culture here called, I think it's called gursha, where someone hand feeds another person. I learned that it's very common here, and as a foreigner, as a tourist, this can possibly happen to you. So if you befriend some Ethiopians, maybe they bring you to their home for a homemade traditional meal. Don't be surprised if someone's grandma rips off a piece of the local bread, scoops up some stew, and then tries to put it in your mouth. And from what I understand, it's rude to refuse. Another thing no one told me.
I think that's interesting out here. Anybody catch you doing that, they're going to think you're flirting or y'all go together.
Yes.
Like.
That is really good to know, especially like for people like me. I'm very picky with my food. I gotta watch people like a hawk when they preparing my meal. So that's interesting to know, so that I won't take offense to it or think something.
Because you get invited to someone's house, that's custom. It's going to happen, so open up.
Yes.
They're going to hand feed you,
Yeah, so that's why it's important to understand people's culture.
Yeah, and I love his honesty, because you can really hear the first-hand experience of all of this. Being that we've been riding with you guys for so long now, and vice versa, you guys have really put us on to a lot of gems and culture hacks. And I feel like this is a very important one to know. Yeah.
Is that English, well, at least from my experience there, English was a lot more common than I expected. I understand that this language right now is the lingua franca of the world. Many people speak it as a second language. But when it comes to Ethiopia, there were 2 reasons why I didn't think it would be very common here. One, when it came to travel talks, travel blogs, etc., Ethiopia never really came up as a hotspot tourist destination. I'm sure even on this video, many people have heard of Ethiopia, but probably don't know too much about what goes on inside the country. Probably have never thought about visiting also. So that's one. And also due to historical reasons, I didn't think English would be very common. If anything, if there was like an outside language, I thought it could possibly be maybe Italian. But that didn't seem like that was the case either. From the places that I visited, and even going to random shops on the side street, random restaurants, usually there was someone there who spoke English, and it wasn't the greatest, but it was really good. The next thing no one told me about Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and just Ethiopia in general, is how much of a peaceful country it is. Now, I know this isn't the most popular thing to say, especially right now, but I just know that my time walking around Addis Ababa, for the most part, people told me that all you really have to worry about is petty crimes. Situations where someone will talk to you and then another person will come behind you and try to steal your phone and take your money, pickpocketing type stuff. I've been to other countries, and I won't name them, where when walking around, everyone has their phone in their hand. And I'm guessing it's because, again, of the serious pickpocketing that goes on there. I've been to places where at night, no one's out. In Ethiopia, it's dark at night, but for the most part, there were people out, families, women, even walking around. I didn't get a sense that people feared for their lives when they're out and about. It just seemed like everyone is going about their daily activity. Even when I was in a ride-sharing car, one of the guys was telling me about how if you go to the historic center, there's like a long strip of jewelry shops. And he told me, if you notice, you're not going to see any bars in the window or bars on the doors. Because for the most part, it's safe. You're not going to have people trying to rob the bank and steal gold and all this other stuff. So yes, this place has its economic hardships, petty crime. I'm not saying it's the safest place in the world, but definitely the word peaceful, at least for me, in Addis Ababa, comes to mind. And last but not least, we have the women. And I'm just going to get straight into it. I'm going to say there's some of the most beautiful creatures I've seen. I'm not even going to say humans because they too fine to be humans.
Okay. Oh my
Lord.
There's some type of creature from Africa. No, but seriously, I found the Ethiopian women to be some of the most beautiful I've seen, for sure. And I want to say, to me, it comes across as natural beauty. When walking around, there were many times where I've seen women along the street, you know, along the dirt road, selling coffee or snacks. And even many of them were like, wow. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what tribes they had out here, the Kasamitic, Temetic, Zulu, Galulu, Paputu tribes. Whatever they had out here, it worked out. But for the most part, these are the 7 things no one told me about Addis Ababa, Ethiopia before visiting. Hope you guys learned something new from this video.
Alright, man. Yeah, definitely, bro. Make sure you guys go check his channel out. Again, I really felt like this was a real great first-hand experience, especially for anybody who do plan on traveling, man. I feel like he was right there on the border of, like, learning what it's like to be in Ethiopia, you know?
Yeah. Some cool things, some gems, you know,
Yeah, facts,
if you didn't know about them before. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel. Subscribe here. We'll see you soon. Peace.